This is the story of Dexter's smartest moments, the times when his sharp brain saved his secret and kept his dark world alive. Dexter Morgan isn't just another fictional anti-hero. He's a man who lives two lives perfectly balanced between order and chaos. Imagine having to hide your true self from the world every single day. That's Dexter's reality. While his co-workers see him as a quiet, reliable, and oddly charming forensic analyst, inside he is driven by something far darker. Yet what keeps us hooked isn't just his hidden hunger, it's how incredibly smart he is at keeping it all under control, right from the beginning. Dexter shows us that survival for someone like him doesn't depend on strength alone. It depends on brains, patience, and the ability to think 10 steps ahead of everyone else. He is not just surviving, he is thriving in a world full of detectives, killers, and constant danger. Where anyone else would stumble, Dexter calculates. Where others would panic, he plans. This balance between calm intelligence and ruthless action is what makes his story so fascinating. Think about it. He works inside the Miami Metro Police Department, surrounded by some of the sharpest detectives in the city. Every day, he has to stand shoulder to shoulder with people trained to spot lies, to notice small details, and to catch criminals just like him. And yet, Dexter plays his role so perfectly that no one suspects a thing. That alone is a sign of his genius. He doesn't just hide his true nature, he makes his cover story uncheckable, but what really makes his intelligence shine is the way he builds rules and routines. He calls it the Code of Harry, taught to him by his adoptive father. These rules are not just moral guidelines, they are survival blueprints. Kill only those who deserve it. Leave no evidence. Blend in. Always stay 2 steps ahead. With this code, Dexter turns what could have been reckless violence into a methodical, almost scientific process. It's chilling, but also brilliant. Another part of his genius lies in how he reads people. Dexter is not a man of emotions, at least not in the way most people are, but he studies human behavior like a scientist. He watches, listens, and learns how people react, and then he mirrors those reactions to fit in. Smiling when others smile, joking when others laugh, showing sadness when it's expected. These small performances might seem simple, but they are actually one of the smartest survival tactics he has. He understands that if people see him as normal, no one will ever look for the darkness behind his eyes. Dexter's intelligence is not about flashy displays of knowledge or loud speeches. It's quiet, precise, and deadly effective. He thrives in silence, making decisions with cold logic. That's why his story pulls us in. It's not just about killing, it's about outsmarting. Every step he takes is a puzzle, and he always seems to solve it just in time. And as we go deeper into his world, we see that his brilliance is not just about hiding, it's about strategy. From carefully planning his rituals, to selecting his targets, to disposing of evidence without a trace, every action is a masterclass in cunning. It's why audiences can't look away. We're watching someone who should be trapped at every turn, yet always finds a way out. This is what makes Dexter's smartest moments so powerful. They remind us that intelligence can be a weapon sometimes sharper than any blade. And as we look at these moments, one thing becomes clear. Dexter Morgan is not just a character. He's a strategist, a mastermind, and a symbol of how dangerous pure genius can be when hidden behind a smile. Asterisk danger follows Dexter Morgan like a shadow. Every time he steps into the world as both blood analyst and hidden predator, he is only one mistake away from exposure. But that's what makes his story so thrilling. Dexter doesn't just survive these moments of danger, he bends them to his will. His intelligence turns close calls into opportunities, and his quick thinking makes him seem untouchable. These are the moments when his genius shines the brightest. One of Dexter's greatest strengths is his ability to stay calm when most people would crumble. Imagine standing over a body, blood dripping into a pool, and suddenly hearing footsteps behind you. For an ordinary person, panic would take over. But for Dexter, his brain becomes sharper. His mind scans every possible move in seconds. He calculates escape routes, wipes evidence with military precision, and always leaves the scene cleaner than when he arrived. In these moments, his intelligence is not just survival, it's artistry. There are countless times when Dexter has been within arm's reach of being caught. A coworker questioning him about odd behavior, a detective growing suspicious of strange lab results, an unexpected knock at the door when he's mid-preparation. Each time, Dexter crafts lies so convincing they feel like truth. He knows exactly what people want to hear, and he delivers it with just the right tone and body language. That ability to improvise on the spot and turn suspicion into reassurance is a skill sharper than any weapon. Take, for example, the way he manipulates crime scenes. Dexter doesn't just erase evidence. He rewrites it. If a drop of blood risks exposing him, he blends it with the natural mess of a crime. If someone is close to finding a clue, he plants a distraction to steer them off course. He uses his job as a blood analyst like a mask, hiding behind science while bending the facts to protect himself. His genius isn't just that he knows how to cover his tracks, it's that he knows how to do it while everyone is watching. Another brilliant layer of Dexter's danger-proofing is his preparation. He doesn't wait for danger to appear, he anticipates it. Before he takes action, he studies his targets like a chess master. He learns their habits, their routines, their weaknesses. He knows exactly when they are vulnerable and exactly how to make them disappear without a trace. This preparation means that when the unexpected does happen, he's still ready. The world thinks of him as lucky, but it's not luck, it's calculation. And yet, Dexter's greatest danger isn't always criminals or crime scenes. Sometimes it's the people closest to him. His sister Deborah, his colleagues at Miami Metro, even those who love him the most, these are the people who unknowingly pose the biggest threat. They see him every day. They know his voice, his mannerisms, his habits. If anyone were to notice something strange, his carefully built world could collapse. But Dexter's brilliance lies in how he blends into their lives so naturally. A brother, a friend, a coworker, they never question the mask, because he wears it so perfectly. But even in the face of hunters as cunning as himself, other killers, rivals who see through facades, Dexter still finds a way to outwit them. He doesn't rely on brute force alone. He lures them into false confidence, letting them believe they've outsmarted him, only to flip the game at the last moment. It's a constant battle of predator versus predator. But Dexter's ability to stay 2 steps ahead keeps him on top. Every close call, every brush with exposure, every second where danger is 1 heartbeat away, these are the moments where Dexter proves just how smart he really is. He doesn't just escape. He transforms the situation into something he can control. In a world where 1 mistake could mean the end, Dexter shows us what it looks like to turn intelligence into survival. This is what makes his story so magnetic. We watch, holding our breath, knowing he should be caught, knowing danger is inches away. But then, just like that, Dexter twists the game. He takes the impossible and makes it possible. And in those moments, we see that his true weapon isn't the blade he carries, it's the mind that guides it. Dexter Morgan's real battlefield isn't the streets of Miami or the blood-stained crime scenes he studies, it's the silent arena of the human mind. More than his strength, more than his tools, it's his ability to think like a chess master that makes him unstoppable. Every person around him is a piece on the board, and every move he makes is part of a larger strategy. This is where Dexter's genius comes alive, not in brute force, but in psychological warfare. What separates Dexter from most predators is his understanding of human behavior. He studies people not out of empathy but out of necessity. To blend in, he learns the mechanics of emotions, when to laugh, when to cry, when to show love. But beneath this disguise lies a sharper skill. He doesn't just mimic emotions, he manipulates them. He knows how people will react before they even act. Like a chess player anticipating moves, Dexter reads the board 3, 4, even 5 steps ahead. Take his interactions with coworkers at Miami Metro. To them, Dexter is the quiet, slightly odd analyst who cracks the occasional joke and shows up on time. Nothing more, nothing less. But behind that mask, Dexter carefully calculates how much attention to draw, how much warmth to show, and when to disappear into the background. Too much charm and suspicion rises. Too little and questions start. So he finds the perfect balance, always giving just enough to be overlooked. That's not luck. That's psychological precision, But his real brilliance emerges when he faces opponents who are just as dangerous as he is. Rival killers, manipulative enemies, and predators who sense his hidden darkness. These moments become a high-stakes chess game. Each word, each glance, each false smile carries weight. Dexter never charges head-on. He lures, he deceives, he sets traps in the mind before setting them in reality. His calm nature disarms enemies. They underestimate him, and by the time they realize their mistake, it's too late. One of Dexter's most powerful tools is the mask of normality. While others fight with fists or weapons, Dexter fights with illusions. He convinces people he's harmless, sometimes even fragile. He uses relationships as shields, not out of love but as tactical pieces. A family dinner, a friendly joke, a moment of fake vulnerability, all of it builds the image of a man incapable of cruelty. This disguise is his greatest defense. While everyone looks elsewhere for danger, he operates in plain sight, but Dexter's mental chess isn't only about hiding, it's also about controlling. He often guides people toward the choices he needs them to make. A suspect led to trust him. A colleague steered away from a dangerous clue. A rival forced into a trap of their own making. He doesn't shove people into decisions. He nudges them, planting ideas, creating just enough doubt until they walk right where he wants them to. That is the mark of true psychological mastery. Even his closest relationships, his sister Deborah, his romantic partners, his friends, are part of this chess game. To keep his secret safe, Dexter has to balance honesty with lies, affection with distance. The wrong move could expose him, but the right move keeps suspicion at bay. Sometimes he even convinces himself that he cares, because that's the only way to play the role convincingly. It's not just manipulation of others, it's self-manipulation. Bending his own image until it fits the mask he shows the world. And when the stakes rise, when another predator threatens to outsmart him, Dexter thrives in the tension. He doesn't panic, he sharpens. Every encounter becomes a duel of minds where the smartest survives. He listens more than he speaks. He observes more than he acts. By the time his opponent realizes the trap, they're already cornered. These psychological battles are what make Dexter's story so compelling. It's not just about bodies and blood, it's about control. About watching someone who lives two lives, two faces, two minds, and never letting them collapse into one. Dexter shows us that intelligence isn't always loud or obvious. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's hidden behind a smile. And sometimes it's the checkmate you never saw coming until it was too late. Asterisk. Dexter Morgan's story isn't just about survival or clever tricks. It's about the legacy of a man who lived in the razor-thin space between genius and monstrosity. When we look back at his smartest moments, they form more than a highlight reel of escapes and victories. They reveal the blueprint of a mastermind. A man who showed that intelligence, when sharpened by necessity, can be more dangerous than any weapon. Dexter's brilliance lies in how complete his double life was. Most people who live with secrets eventually slip. They say the wrong thing, act out of character, or leave behind a trace. Dexter, however, turned his life into a performance. He didn't just hide who he was, he built an entirely new persona, layer by layer, until the world believed in it. A brother, a father, a friend, a colleague. Everyone saw the mask, but no one saw the truth. That's not just deception, that's mastery. What makes his legacy even more haunting is that his intelligence never felt like raw luck. Every move had reason. Every action had purpose. When danger appeared, Dexter's choices weren't random gambles. They were precise calculations. It's the kind of brilliance that makes viewers sit back and wonder how far could intelligence go if morality were stripped away? That question is what lingers long after the episode's end, but Dexter's smartest moments are also bittersweet. For all his victories, for all his perfect calculations, there's a weight behind them. He proves that even the sharpest mind cannot outrun the darkness forever. His genius gave him power, but it also chained him to a life of lies. And that duality, brilliance, and burden is what makes his story unforgettable. He is both hero and villain, protector and predator, mastermind and monster. Still, what remains undeniable is the fascination he leaves behind. Viewers aren't drawn to Dexter because of his violence, they're drawn because of his intellect. Because deep down, we recognize the beauty of strategy, the art of deception, the elegance of a plan executed flawlessly. His story forces us to admit something uncomfortable, that intelligence itself can be intoxicating. No matter how dark the purpose behind it, Dexter's legacy also redefines what it means to be smart. It isn't about solving math problems or quoting books. It's about awareness, adaptation, and control. It's the ability to see patterns no one else notices, to manipulate situations others can't predict, and to stay calm when everything is falling apart. His story reminds us that true intelligence is not flashy, it's quiet. It's hidden, and it's often invisible until the very last moment, when it delivers checkmate, and maybe that's why Dexter stays in our minds. Not because he was perfect, because he wasn't. Not because he never made mistakes, because he did. But because, despite living under constant risk, he always found a way to outthink the world. His legacy is the portrait of a man who lived inside a storm of danger, yet moved through it with the precision of a surgeon. A man who built an empire of lies so strong it almost became truth. In the end, Dexter's smartest moments aren't just about him, they're about us. They make us question the line between intelligence and morality. They make us wonder what we would do if forced into the same impossible games. And they leave us with one chilling thought. Sometimes the most dangerous weapon in the world isn't strength, or violence, or even fear. Sometimes the deadliest weapon is a brilliant mind, hidden behind an ordinary smile. That is Dexter's legacy. The legacy of a mastermind who turned every threat into a puzzle, every puzzle into a victory, and every victory into legend. And even now, long after his story has ended, his shadow lingers, reminding us that true genius leaves a mark no one can erase.